Valguero, my admittedly least favorite map, but maybe playing 100 days of it will change my mind. Or will it be the most frustrating map I've ever played to date? Oh, and of course I'll be taking on Alpha Grendel, but before we can do that, we have to go all the way back. And here we go, Valguero. I need a win here. So let's actually finish the challenge, maybe. What is that? So let's do that. What is this? Alright, it's Halloween. This challenge started the same as they all do, with a fist fight with a tree so I can make the basic tools. While scavenging the beach, I noticed this mammoth and pig squaring off, so I figured I would hang around for some free hide. But the mammoth was pretty intent on making sure the pig wasn't getting back up. I tried to sneak a hit on it, but it went as well as you'd expect. Oh my god. Anyway, 3 more seconds. Before we get too far, I do want to warn you, a lot of audio disappeared from the recording, so I'm going to be yapping here a lot. Next, I started on a bow and arrow, so I'd be able to defend myself a little bit better for the time being. Then headed into the water for some fish, but maybe later is a better time. Oh.
Hello.
Well, hi!
So instead of that, I started a fight I knew I'd win with this tree. Near the end of day 1, I think I found a horse. Structures. Ooh, a horse. Now, because of my extensive record, you'd assume I can tame a horse, right? I don't really remember how to tame a horse, to be honest, but... 6%. Yeah, okay, I'm not taming this. Yeah, absolutely not. Took out all my anger on this little dodo. To end off day 1, I made the first of many bad decisions I'll make in these 100 days and attack this Onyx. Oh, piss off. Oh my god. Oh, yeah. I don't make it. Well, that's probably a good thing, because you're not going to make it. Apparently, I'm not completely useless all the time. After I secured my stuff, I then must have been pretty mad, because I set this dodo on fire.
Ooh. Say ooh.
At this point, I think my ego really must have taken a pretty big hit, because I also snuck up on this raptor and dispatched it pretty quickly, too. I wanted to tame this, but I realized I don't have any drinks. Right after that, I got jumped by some of the friendly beachgoers. Now, after the pega witnessed my raw, brutal strength, it decided to be my friend. Just don't get too attached to it for now. Right as day 2 began, I made a wooden club, so I could, well, do this. Max level. Oh my god. Dude, you're joking. Oh my god, I actually got it. Hit it once. With the Paris sword now fully stocked with berries, it was time to kill a lot of time, so I named this Thievin. I know, really creative. So with the Paris sword tamed, like the warrior I am, I ran away from this little bird. Unfortunately, there was a bigger flyer waiting for me not too far away. Fortunately, it was a bigger than me. You know what? God, the bats are strange. Day 2-ish. Now, if you were hoping this was going to be worse for me, I'll have you know I beat the King Titan, I've beat the Overseer, but I haven't beat Hunger quite yet. That's not going to change today. What happened there? Okay, it's time for a raft when I get back. I'm not sure why a raft would help me, but I like the ambition. Is that a bat again?
Where were the other drugs going? I never knew.
There's so many bats. I think I'm gonna fight the boss with either Deinonychus is the easy option. I'm thinking maybe bears though. Oh yeah, I'm sure I will. Now everything was going relatively well until I found another bat and had a minor tantrum. Oh my god, another f***ing bat. Luckily for me, that was just the motivation I needed to make it back to my stuff. I also realized my lives are short, so I gave my parasaur a name. I walk a lonely road. After that, I bet you'll never guess what I ran into. It's a bat. Oh my god, how many freaking are there? That's right, most players fight Rexes, Gigas, or even other players, but I'm different because bats are going to be my big fight.
Max, what do you want for dinner?
God. I think we're gonna have a common problem in this.
As you can tell, it's going pretty well, but for those of you enjoying this torture, please consider subscribing to see all the pain ARK puts me through later in this video.
Dude, you're joking me right now. Where did this freaking bat come from? Oh my god, let me throw it out! God. I'm gonna... Oh my god. Friggin' bats. Is there always this many bats? Drakeling too. Okay, I like don't. Oh, he's gonna die. Did it run away? Good God, I'm gonna die again.
For some reason, the Drakeling left long enough just for me to hop off and then kill me instead. And honestly, watching this back, it's hilarious. So let's just watch some more of this.
Okay, well that thing's dead. Okay, is the parasaur dead? If it is, whatever. Jace. You mad at me? You know what? You're on your own.
After sacrificing Thievin, I quickly made a raft to get the hell out of here. As you can tell, Thievin meant a bunch to me.
Thievin's dead. Okay, dude, like, fight back, though. There we go. That's the first Drakeling I've actually seen. Oh, there he goes.
Somehow I missed the big blue circle, so I thought Perry was gone as well.
Oh my god, it's alive.
Before I took off, I set up some foundations so I could place things like a forge and a smithy to get on with some metal tools. So Perry and I boarded the ship and set sail, and I set up a mortar and pestle for some narcotics. I also made this visual storage campfire, which is one of the few mods I'm using for this 100 days.
Fire with the thing on it.
I also placed a bed, a storage box, and a preserving bin just for some basic necessities. To begin day 3, I made this insane shot to bowl this Pteranodon, and taming it was super easy because I'm simply just the best.
Okay, that's not though.
I had to take a little detour to find a fish, but once I did, it tamed up right away. While waiting, I went and tamed this Phiomia because we need a lot of fertilizer.
Oh god. Oh my god, I almost died. I think he's just slower than me.
Then I got super distracted and shifted focus to this guy instead.
60. I really want either of you.
Later I made a Pteranodon saddle and flew to this drop. It had good fur, but that's about it. This is going to be a common theme in this playthrough. While doing some more exploring, I wandered into this castle, and I think this is like a pretty good, maybe great spot for a base, so a little foreshadowing for you. I did a little more exploring, checking out the castle, but there's just a lot of open space. Before I left Perry here, I marked my territory with him. Then I whipped my boat around back to my own private dock. After that, I took off on my Pteranodon, check out this super cool tree I found earlier, but it happened to have crystals, so I grabbed some of that too, because we're going to need a bunch of that later anyway. To end the day, I flew off right into that sunset. Now's a good time to mention another mod, the Dino Soul Ball, which is basically a super cheap cryopod. That's one of the other mods we're using. It's nothing insane, but I don't feel like crafting cryopods to play through, so yeah. Early on day 3, I managed to find another Pteranodon, and if you knew anything about me, I'd like to have backup tames for no particular reason. On my way back, I beat up this doed until it decided we were good enough to be friends.
I'm gonna take care of you.
I also recorded this so long ago that this was about the time baby flyers were introduced, so this was pretty cool to me at the time. Anyway, while flying back, I found a huge beaver dam, and my inner kleptomania came out, so I stole all of their hard work just because I can. Now it was time to visit the White Cliffs for one reason and one reason only. But not before the newest creature in the game at the time came to visit me. Luckily I escaped and quickly stumbled into some Deinonychus, but for some reason there was no nest. Of course there wasn't.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now this is the moment I had the worst idea in ARK I think I might have ever had, but we'll get more into that later. At this point nothing was really happening early on day 5, but I did have a rock thrown on my head for some reason. Oh, and I found a spot that crashes my game every single time I fly by it, so this is going to be pretty awesome. Keep this in mind. And for some reason I just keep flying into it. Like I said, keep this in mind. But after I was done with that, I finally managed to get a Deinonychus egg, but I flew away for 3 seconds and the Deinonychus literally multiplied. I mean, look at this. Look, after some terrible baiting, I managed to fly in and steal the egg with no issues literally at all.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
No joke, my first egg was at max level, so on day 5 we were looking pretty set. Oh yeah, and then I crashed. But luckily when I got back I still had the egg, so we didn't get set back too far. Because the crashing was annoying me so much, I took out my anger and stole another egg. It sucked, but I still had that 150, and the next one was a 60 again. But this egg definitely was not a level 60. I got another 150 after I stole a couple more, but nothing as good as the 2 150s I had. Then I bet you this time for real you'll never guess what I did for the 5th time. After a very careful flight home, I was finally ready to work on hatching the Deinonychus. Luckily all I needed were a few standing torches and I could hatch them with no problem and no ACs. Luckily for me, the 150s were male and female, and one had some pretty cool colors due to an event going on. Couldn't remember what it is now. I spent the rest of the day placing a smithy and mortar while raising my Deinonychus. I also started gathering stone so I could start on a new base. A little side goal of mine in these videos is to start being better at base building, so hopefully they get better with each video you watch. Anyway, while breeding the 150s, I decided to test out one of the lower level Deinonychus, and wow, I forgot how good these things were even at a low level. To start day 6, I flew directly into the water because I just didn't think I was having a hard enough time. Then while trying to get a white drop, I met a bison, and yeah. On my way back, I fought a shark with my Deinonychus, otherwise it went pretty smooth. I also found a mammoth BP, surely that'll be useful later. But more importantly, I found an oviraptor, which means I can leave the Deinonychus alone to breed and I don't have to stand around watching them. I also found another 150 Pteranodon, so why not name that one too? Now, I don't know if this is just my map, but the beaches of Valguero were littered with 150s, so I dragged away any threats and tamed another one.
I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
Unfortunately, there was one thing I couldn't drag away, so all I could do was just watch this happen. To make myself feel better later, I went and stole some more Deinonychus eggs. It didn't work. After I got my stuff back, I checked the eggs, but didn't get anything good or better than what I had. On my way home, I stopped by a terminal, and wow, that is a lot of stuff for Alpha Grendel. Good thing I have 100 days, surely that'll be enough time, right? Shortly after that, I got distracted and tamed another 150 Pteranodon. Then I found another Pteranodon, so I figured why the hell not. Well, I'll tell you why, because little did I know there was a ghost Rex. Yep, you heard that right. It was getting dropped on his head. Yeah, I don't even know what to say, so let's just move on to a different Pteranodon. I mean, is this even ARK anymore? What are we doing here? As soon as I got back, it was time to hatch a Deinonychus again. For some reason, there was a Pelagornis stumbling around my base, so I decided why not tame that as well. All I did for the rest of the day was hatch eggs. On day 9, I've combed through the footage about 20 times, and I have nothing important except apparently I tamed a cat at some point, but conveniently I don't have it, so I'll just show you Fred. Oh, and on day 9 at some point I also made a giant bear trap for some new tames. But before I do anything with that, I need a wood gatherer, so I decided to tame a Castroidus, because while I used the mammoth blueprint I had from earlier, this went about as well as everything else is going in this 100 days, so pretty terribly. I also forgot that I needed narcotics, so I rushed back to the base and barely got back in time. Unfortunately, I didn't grab close to enough, so I went back to base to make some more, and this time, well, I did make it back in time. Now, no joke, it phased through the map. Luckily, I was able to snag another 150, and this time I had at least the right amount of narcotics. While waiting for it to tame, I grabbed a few drops, but I really didn't get anything good. Then, while checking on the Deinonychus eggs, the beaver finally tamed up. With the beaver, I decided I should probably tame an RG so I can carry this beaver around, and luckily for me, RGs are the one dino I never have trouble taming. I also stole this baby saber too, but we don't have to worry about that. On the way back to base, I grabbed this red drop, but my god, it sucked. But this one was great. And here's a couple more red drops. Once back at base, I got the Deinonychus, which was pretty good. I also made an Anki saddle to start metal farming, because that's my favorite thing to do in ARK. Just kidding, I hate metal farming. Late in the day, I hunted down this red drop for something great. It was way better than that. So was this, and this. To start day 12, I saddled up my new Deinonychus, but I was way too fat to ride. Wow. I then spent an insane amount of time sorting metal into forges because I couldn't figure out the push feature. Next, I stripped myself of all my gear because I had a date with the Wyvern Trench, and I'm not planning on flying back. I did grab a couple drops, deciding I was okay with losing some of this stuff. I studied the outside of the trench for a few minutes, but that's pretty boring, so I flew in and immediately these dragons were not very happy with me.
Hello there.
The worst part of this whole thing is I didn't see a single wyvern egg, so I guess we'll have to give that a while and hope one spawns in. Really all I did on day 13 was breed and test out a new Deinonychus and steal a baby pig. Oh, and this drop too. But after a whole day of waiting, I went right back to the Wyvern Trench. Surprise, surprise, there was nothing.
You in here? No shit, Sherlock.
Oh yeah, by this point I had bred a Deinonychus army. I'm definitely going to use this later, don't worry. Later on that day I happened to find this cave, and I found where all the USA has been hiding all of its oil. I've been told to clarify that that was a joke and nothing more. On my way out of the redwoods, I ran into a Microraptor and did every ARK player in the world a favor. You're welcome. Each like and new subscriber is one dead Microraptor. And on day 15, you guessed it, back to the Wyvern Trench. But this time I actually did manage to find a Wyvern egg. It was just an absolutely terrible level. And weirdly, no one cared I was stealing their child. On my way back, I got a I've never used one, never probably will use one, but anyway. On day 16, I flew across the map to steal from some innocent beavers. For some reason, they weren't very happy about it. This reminded me I owned a beaver, so I took it out to get some wood.
Hey, yo!
Then I went out to tame an ovis because, well, I wanted a stable supply of mutton, which means I actually need 2 ovises. Oh, I should explain that the Dinosaurs army is for... Well, at this point, my plan was to fight Grendel with this army. This may change later, but that's why I bred so many, especially with this. But for now, I wanted to tame something new, and the Drakeling, at least at the time this just came out, so I figured I'd try taming one. Oh, never mind. Luckily, I found one down the beach, and this tame went way better than the first time. If you didn't know, the Spring Drakeling actually has the gift of spring, which heals your dinos way faster than anything else, at a way lower cost. By the time I got back to base, I had enough resources to craft our Deinonychus saddle, and because I like to leave you in suspense before we test either of these out, it's time to stop living on the ground. That's right, cue the building montage. After all that building, I decided to visit this cool tree, and that means I can get some crystal from it. Luckily, there was a ton of crystal nearby. On the way back, I completed another heist with absolutely no pressure at all. When I got back, I realized how dark my castle was, so I set up some lamps just for you guys. Not for me. I also threw down a bunk bed, but more importantly, this rug and bed.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
I realized I was running low on metal at this point, so I took the Yankee out for some hard physical labor. I didn't want to give all the attention to the metal, so I spread the labor around. With the mandatory labor done, it was time to smelt the metal needed for an indie forge, but first I made some billboards that we'll use later. One thing I realized is I also needed to start gardening, so I set up this super professional greenhouse. Now I wanted to tame one of the newest creatures in ARK, a bison. Okay, in my defense, this was recorded. They had only been out a couple months when Ragnarok released. Now, as you can all guess, I'm just going to tame a bunch of them, so here's a little montage, but first I wanted to test my Deinonychus army on this bone Bronto. So after nearly dying to the Bronto, an Alpha Raptor appeared out of nowhere just to make sure it could ruin my day. In typical ARK fashion, my bison faced the ground, but luckily I got it back. My next one wasn't so lucky. When I got back to base, you'll never guess what I did. Yeah, more breeding, but this time there's kind of a purpose. Right now I'm debating using Deinonychus or Bisons, so why not have a bunch of both and then decide on day 99. But that's a problem for later. For now I switched my focus on getting an indie forge, and luckily all the polymer I needed was in this stump in the redwoods right behind my base. With all of that collected, I can make my indie forge, and we're going to start a counter on this channel of how many days it takes me to get here. So one on the leaderboard is day 25 to get an indie forge. Yikes. Oh yeah, I used the visual storage version, and since we're on the topic, I made a fridge, some air cons too, and a normal generator. And while this, I think it's time we get to our wyvern being hatched. Or not. Yeah, I need way more air cons, so that'll have to wait for now. Luckily for you, it was only about 15 minutes, but it's 0 minutes for you because I'm not going to make you wait. I know, I'm such a great guy. When it was finally hatched, this was the most fire wyvern looking fire wyvern I've ever gotten. While I waited, I pet the cat, and that's literally it. When the wyvern was finally redded, I'll be honest, I was pretty disappointed. This thing is pretty bad, but a wyvern is a wyvern. Next I wanted a better way of getting bears, so I tamed a Brompto. Yes, I did say Brompto, and I'm leaving that in.
Wow.
Now while waiting for this to tame, I found this. Yeah, but when I got back to base, I started messing with the visual storage stuff again, and just I won't bore you with how I set this all up because it took way too long, and I probably won't use this again, but it's pretty cool. But we do have a perfect bison now, and that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, the wyvern I had was far from perfect, so I decided to head back to the trance to see if I could find a new egg. But I only found this level 25, so instead I went drop hunting to clear my head. That just means before I crashed out. Later in the day, I also tested this bison, and this thing is insane. It's also way stronger than my wyvern right now. Man, I really needed a new one. Next on my list was a Megaraptor, but it's really hard to find a good one, so for now that's going to have to wait. Next on day 29, I got jumped by these direwolves, and after deleting them, I took their child. Luckily, later in the day, I found a 150 Megaraptor. Unlucky for me, it was stuck in this rock. It did escape, but we had no altar, so it was off to find a different one. Not too far away, I found another one, and it was actually had an altar this time, so it was perfect. So I went up to the Altair.
I sense you expected someone else.
What sorcery is this?
But bro was busy, so I had to wait patiently for it to come back. Once it came back, I was finally able to start the creepiest taming method in ARK. I mean, I really didn't expect this at the time, but it's super cool. Basically, you approach Altair and wait for it to attack you, but you have to bash it over the head with a torch before it can attack you until it gets knocked out. But while doing this, the Drakeling really wanted to be tamed, so I decided after I'd tamed that too. While waiting for the Megaraptor, I just flew around looking for drops. I didn't find anything. I was back on my way back to base when I found this. This is actually an entrance to the Aberration Zone, and that got me thinking, for those of you that watch my Aberration 100 Days, you'll know I really like using the Cosmo, so that was definitely now on my list of things to do. So with my bison, I headed back down to do some exploring. One of the first things I found was some biotoxin that I have no idea if I'll be able to use or not.
Backtrack a tad! Tad!
I'm going to take it anyway. I was starting to realize I was super underprepared, so I set up a little base with a forge and smithy because I needed climbing picks to get up to a Cosmo. I also needed chitin to feed it, so I had to solve that too. There, now we can tame a Cosmo. Well, actually I just tamed this low level one to get up to this level 150, which I tamed with no issues up here. I also made a glide suit, so now traversing the Aberrans is a piece of cake. I also tamed this bulp dog that I'm never going to see again. While doing some more exploring, I managed to trap this bear somehow and tame it too. Oh! In the day, I found the red zone, which means I found the radiation zone.
This guy's such an idiot here. What's that? He's always been like this here. What do you mean?
So I took off for a certain blood-sucking creature because I had an idea.
And here we go.
The only issue is I was playing during the Halloween event and I kept getting attacked by these dodos. I had no luck, so my alternative was waiting until Rorettes dug up red gems. It took a while, but eventually I got some, but man, these things take forever. With it already accomplished in the aberrant zone, I figured it was about time I went back to the surface to make a gas collector, but of course I was short on crystal. And just like that, I was sick at the surface, so I headed right back down to the aberrant zone. The trip down was so much better with a glide suit, it's not even close. I couldn't find a gas vein for the life of me, so I just ran around until I got poisoned or one snapped to the ground.
You serious?
Now all I had to do was just wait for the gas collector to get the balls so it was back up to the surface. For some fun, I visited my favorite bank for some more cementing paste. I was tired of being thirsty all the time, so I made 2 canteens. I know, this is major character development for me.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Alright, fine. Next on my hit list was this Allosaurus, but first I had to take out the neighbors. I was able to knock this thing out, but there happened to be an Alpha Bone Rex nearby, so my only option was to try and lead it away, but it was more interested in this stupid stego. Luckily I did get it to leave, but meet the Microraptor. After that, it tamed with no issues, so I went to find another one before this. Shortly after I found one, but also found a Ghost Rex that took no damage. After leading it away, we had literally no issues. Funny how that works. Sticking with boss fighter taming, I got one of these theories because I still have no idea what I want to fight Grendel with, and it's nice to have options.
Yeah, baby!
We now have Allosauruses, Theries, Bisons, or Deinonychus. The male Thery was kind of mid, but the female sucked.
Women.
No, get out of here. Anyway, I realized I needed another female Allo, so I got to work and tamed up a new one. On day 36, I started breeding Theries just in case I want to fight Grendel with them. I also went and knocked out a couple Megatheriums, but I kept getting chased by Ghost Wolves, and they hit really hard.
Now that's a lot of damage!
But luckily, I could tactically retreat on my Wyvern. On day 37, I got a new hatchet, which is pretty cool, and so is this visual storage industrial grill. Later I grabbed my Cosmo, so I think you know where this is going. Oh, and I dropped all my gear. You smell that? I think I smell a rock drake.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, I guess not. But we got this Fire Wyvern egg almost immediately.
Wow! Okay!
Luckily these wyverns are terrible parents, so I got out with no problem. But that took the rest of day 37. And naturally, instead of hatching it, I went out and tamed a bee. As soon as I got back to base, I turned it into a beehive, and then surely I tamed the wyvern. Ah yes, now it was time to finally hatch our 190 wyvern.
Okay, I couldn't use the audio from the wyvern on the account I was watching hockey, so I literally cannot use that. But let's see how good of a wyvern this is. 190 is insane. Super crazy. Let's see what you got. Colors are kind of cool. In fact, that was the color of the team I was watching, so there you go. Holy, that is not great. Ooh, that's not great. Better than what I have, but not great.
Yeah, so the wyvern sucks, but hey, it's a wyvern. Right now, I also have a ton of aloes, but no one wants to watch this, so you just get to see the finished project later. Then day 38, I took out the new wyvern, but he was very, very hurt. Day 39, I did literally nothing but raise up babies. Day 40 was the same, but mixed in a little metal run. On day 41, I tamed this parasaur, but I spent most of the day, you guessed it, breeding. I also set up some storage, so we can keep track of the breeding dinos better, or at least shave a little bit of time looking for the dinos I'm looking. I started day 42 with a meat run to feed all my hungry baby dinos. I also grabbed a drop, and that's it. Well, besides being hunted by a bunch of fish. But that did allow me to tame this otter. After a few days of breeding, I made some arrows and figured I should probably get some artifacts. Luckily, the caves in ARK Valguero are big enough for a bison, so I didn't have to tame a different cave creature.
Okay. I've never done this cave before. Hopefully we can do it with just the bison. If not, I have the Nauticus to back me up. It's a red drop and some polymer. Hit me again. I should take my armor off. There we go. Oh god, I'm never gonna find one of those. That's kind of nice.
Now, I'm not really sure what this area is, but it's super cool.
Oh, featherlight. Whoa. Are you tameable? No. Oh, it's a dog. That's cool.
After a bunch more exploring, I wasn't able to find any artifacts, so I headed back to base with a bunch of polymer until I crashed on the way home. Luckily it dropped me here, but when I got closer to my base, the game started tweaking and the textures broke. If anyone knows what this is, please let me know in the comments down below because it happens a bunch. So this time, Crash dropped me in the ocean, and we lost our new otter, so I knocked out the shark, and somehow the Ark gods gave me a new otter. Now, I don't usually do this, but this was literally not my fault, so I figured fair enough. When I got back, I made a cooking pot because I wanted to get started on some med brews, but before that, I was pissed off at the crashes and decided to ruin the day of some rock drake's parents.
I just want to say, it took me 2 years, if not longer, to figure out shift makes you go down. Yeah.
Come here, come here. We're very, very stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, but I've never claimed to be good at ARK. Before we can steal a drake egg, I need to make some hazmat, but the gas balls are going pretty slow for now, so the rock drakes get to keep their eggs, for now anyway. Now at this point I only had enough for hazmat pants and a helmet, so I needed to do something else, or at least I wanted to do something else. A lot of the artifacts caves have water, so I figured a dino that's better in the water is a good idea. So I brought this berry back into my very own built-in taming pen, and after taming it up I spent the rest of the day drop hunting. Didn't really get anything good. On day 45, I visited the Wyvern Trench again, but everything in there sucked again. Later I headed back to the cave from day 43, but with my berry this time. Well, I used my berry when I hit the water part of this cave anyway. Aside from some piranhas, this cave really didn't have any creatures trying to eat me, But just like that, we have our very first artifact, and after a little while of waiting, our second and our third thanks to our otter. There was no fight on the way back really, except for this single Sarco. I guess they're all pretty scared of Barry, and I would be too. Oh, and surprise, surprise, I crashed again. Yeah, I got reset all the way back here. Anyway, the fly back to base went way smoother this time. Just kidding. Of course it didn't. Well, surely this time I'll be able to get in my base. Okay, I'm not sure why it crashes every 2 seconds, but it's working for now. So I placed my artifact down, the first step to taking on Alpha. The only thing I could really do was breeding, because if I left my base at this point, I've just kept crashing and there didn't seem to be an end in sight, so we'll just skip that. Today is day 46, by the way. That's what I should have done, but instead I went and checked on the gas balls. Later I was getting poly from some crabs when I accidentally tamed an eel, but I also found this featherlight and couldn't resist taming it too. At this point I really needed a Spino, but no matter what I did I just couldn't find one. It took nearly the whole day, but I also found some lampreys. Now the Spinos are for rock drakes, but the lampreys gave me an idea. Now if you want to try what I'm about to do, try not to tame them. It makes them useless, but for now the Spino was tamed. Now is the point of the day where I realized that tame lamprey is useless, but by unclaiming it, it actually works, so unless they pick this, maybe you should tame one. Now for those of you that don't know, a lamprey is like a leech, but they provide radiation protection like a hazmat suit at the cost of your health. So if you get leashed by one, you can get to the aberrant zone without a hazmat suit. This is a great way to get your first rock drake egg, especially on Valguero. Just like that, you'll have your first rock drake egg. After doing probably the only smart thing I've ever done in ARK, funny enough I actually did have everything to make a full hazmat suit now. After a couple more air columns, we're now ready to have our very own rock drake. On day 39, I went back to the red zone to get some red gems for a rock drake saddle. This rock drake's, so we definitely need a new one, but for now this will do, and by for now I meant the next couple minutes, because I found this level 100 shortly later. Just when I was about to give up looking for rock drake eggs, our whole trip was made worth it by this 190. I spent the whole day breeding and raising the rock drake eggs. I also spent all day 52 doing the same thing. In fact, I actually did this until day 57, which brings me to a little update or change to the channel. Breeding these challenges takes an insane amount of time, but is necessary for any alpha bosses I want to fight. I find myself doing a lot less exploring and being less excited to actually pick a new map, so from now on I'll be doing Gamma on my first playthrough, but don't worry, I've got something planned for a bunch of alpha fights later in the year. Anyway, back to breeding for now. And just like it's now day 60. For some reason I named my Drake Johnny Christmas. The breeding must have been getting to me because I think I was losing my mind. I was down here for 2 reasons. 1, I want another drake egg, but 2, there's actually an artifact right on the edge of the radiation zone that I didn't see the first time I was down there. With the artifact in hand, I only need 8 more before I had all the artifacts for the boss, never mind the tributes. That's a problem for later. On my way to another cave, I found this, which I had never seen on this map before, but after some research I found out it was designed for players that have passed away, so it's pretty cool, and I think it's an awesome spot to visit. Nearby there was a giant hole in the ground, which was supposed to be a shortcut in the liberation zone, so I thought I'd check it out. It's pretty cool, but I don't see how this is any quicker than going down with the glider suit. The only reason I came down here was to get another artifact, but there wasn't anything here, although I did find another 190 rock drake egg. Also, my otter died to radiation, so I tamed another one. Then I learned hazmat suits don't work on otters at all. The new rock drake had some awesome colors and it actually looked really cool. I then spent the next couple days breeding again. Breeding went into day 70 and I still wasn't done. And finally, all the way on day 77, we had our fully complete Allosaurus for our army. Later on that day, I tamed a Yudi because I figured it wouldn't hurt to have one. I also stole a nearby baby so I could breed extras. That only sounds creepy if you look too much into it, so let's just not do that. On day 79, I decided to tackle one more artifact because the end of this challenge is starting to sneak up on me and I don't know if I'm ready. For this cave you need grapples, but lucky for me I have a Cosmo, so it was pretty easy. Well, it was easy until this happened. So I headed back and brought a grapple luckily, and I could grab my stuff, but the Cosmo was gone. With my otter, I waited for the artifact to respawn a couple more times, and then got the hell out of this cave. When I got back, I had to try to replace the Cosmo I lost, but it still wasn't good enough, so I had to tame a new one. It took me until day 80 to set up my farm. Now, looking back in hindsight, I definitely should have done this way earlier. I also needed more bees, but more on that later. Anyway, now it's time for another cave. The creatures in this cave were insanely strong, and I was getting worried for a second, so I decided to use a Cosmo to skip some of the cave, especially the final jumps because they seemed too hard. And just like that, this artifact was done. Now for the next cave, I got insanely lost, but eventually I did figure it out. But part of the reason was the artifact spawned under the ground, so I couldn't find it even if I wanted to. Now, no matter how long I play this game, I learned something new, like hitting an Arthur with a pike kills you super fast.
Are you serious?
Luckily, I placed sleeping bags outside, so I had no issue getting back. But that's not it for this cave, because there's actually 2 artifacts in this cave. But with the Cosmo, the second one is pretty easy. Getting out was the difficult part because I had no clue where to go, and I've never played this map before, so I got pretty lost. After a little while, I did get out and headed to the base, because on day 82, I was finally done breeding. For the next 3 artifacts, I bred up just a ton of Megatheriums because this is the first mini-boss I'm going to fight on this channel. And there's no limit to the amount of dinos you can bring, so I'm going to use that to my advantage and abuse the hell out of it. After a lot of leveling and healing mixed with some loot, it's about time we take on that overgrown spider. Well, first I had to go back to the ice cave because I forgot an artifact in there. Yeah, this also gave me a chance to test out my allos, which were pretty decent. But honestly, not as strong as I thought they'd be, so yeah, just keep that in mind. With a little help, this cave wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, so we managed to snag our 7th artifact. We only needed 3 more, and a lot of apex drops, and then we'd finally be ready for Alpha Grendel. But these 3 artifacts are all hidden behind the Broodmother, which means I have to kill it first. Next few days are just going to be drop hunting, so here's just the best stuff, some of which I lose because my game crashed like 30 times, and honestly I can't keep track of everything I lose or keep. Wonder why this video took so long to come out. All of day 85, 86, and 87 I spent hunting drops for Allo or Theri Saddle. Unfortunately I did not find any at all, so I had to resort to something I really don't like doing, but it's a little mod called the Upgrade Station. Now on day 88 I finally had a complete line of boss fighting Theris. I just have to raise them, and hopefully I bring a Deinonychus. Hopefully, right? Anyway, later in that day, my final owls were also ready, so I needed to do one last mother run and then make a bunch of saddles. Most of the rest of the challenge I spent hunting for apex drops like sauropod vertebrae, so say goodbye to the day count for now, because all these days are just going to blend into apex hunting, so. Now, the most important thing was Giga Hearts, and I needed 2 of them. Now, I'd love to show you an epic battle between the Giga and I, but in reality, I just let it drown itself. You'll get to see that in a bit, but first it's time for the Broodmother and the last 3 artifacts. Now, like I said, there's no creature cap for this, so I had a ton of Megatheriums, probably 40 or 50 of them. There, with the broodmother taken care of, a lot of the cave I could do with the megatheriums, which was super easy, except the leeches that killed me pretty quick, but luckily I had some sleeping bags and was able to place them down before I died. The next artifact was past this little underwater cave, and luckily nothing spawned, and the third one I went along this edge of a small cave, slides past a drop, and there it was. Now, I don't have footage of me picking it up, but it's there, trust me. So with all that done now, I placed the artifacts, and now we have every artifact we need for the boss fight, at least the Gamma boss fight. So with my creatures placed and the artifacts ready, it was time to test the water with the Gamma before we jumped in the deep end with the Alpha. Here we go. Okay, I have literally no idea how this fight works. Okay, this is where I'm not sure what. Okay. Oh, I just have to run over it. Okay, that's why we have the Ascendant Saddle. There's a couple owls that look pretty good, actually. Oh, you idiots. These need to be on... Okay, so... Help! Oh, this might be Loki. Okay, okay. Okay. Now, obviously, that was. I mean. Oh, you only have 13,000 health. 21 might not be enough. Yeah. Great. Oh. Yeah. Alpha might be rough, but. Now, if I only knew how true that would end up being, but I went back to base to throw everything out to heal and set out for the last remaining Apex drops I would need. Now, if you've seen my last video on Lost Colony, it's not the first time I misunderstood Bison Milk, as for some reason I thought it stopped the bleed effect, which it does, but only once after you're already bleeding. Now, it's important to mention I was deciding between milk or veggie cakes. I wish I picked veggie cakes, but I didn't have enough time to make a bunch of them. Yeah, I know. Next, on day 96 to 99, it was all Apex drops, starting with this Giga. Very late and a Dino Wave later, on day 96, we found a Kartra and it took an entire day to drown this. Yeah, literally, I just wouldn't stay in the water, but we got it done. To show my frustration on this, I took it out on this unsuspecting Pteranodon. Now I feel better. I spent the rest of day 97, 98 getting the remaining Apex drops, plus taming this Daedon to help heal, and now there's nothing to stop me from getting killed by Alpha Grendel. Just like that, it's day 99, and there's only one more thing to do. That's take our final trip to the obelisk and set up our boss army. But, of course, I forgot something, so there's actually 2 more flights to the boss terminal. It's actually 2 more flights to the boss terminal where I thought the Bison Milk would stop taking effect. I know. That's the end of my commentary for this one again, and I apologize for the sound issues. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, or all three. It really helps me out. But without further ado, cue the music. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. I'm just gonna say it. Oh, come on. The first time I get hit by that is there. That's it. Get it. Or no. Stuck in that corner, I think I can be. Holy, get off me. Guys, holy, attack this thing. Wow, everything's really weird. Yeah, this is. Help! Help! Got to get one on. Thank you. Carlos. Ouch.